All right, it would appear that I'm on the air. First of all, ma'am, I want to thank you very much for giving me this extra day. My wife has surgery. She has, let's adjust this a little bit. She has various personal issues. Anxiety is one of them. And she has kept me up just about every night this week. It has really been a scramble. Hallelujah. She's doing better. Last night was actually a decent night. So, at any rate, but still, I appreciate you letting me take time on this. All right. Now, my first video that I did, I took the paper that I turned into you on homelessness, and I went into more detail on it for my first video. So, since I already have a paper on abortion, I went ahead and got a lot more statistics. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 pages of material here on abortion to go into more detail to make this appropriate. Your first question is to describe the chosen health issue. The description of abortion, and this comes from Merriam-Webster, is it's a noun defined as the termination after, accompanied by, resulting in, or closely followed by the death of an embryo or fetus. Now, abortion, you can use the term of abortion if you're relating to a miscarriage as much as you can to the mechanical act of abortion. Next, you wanted to know the causation of it, how it's affected, and how prevalent it is. All right, well, first of all, I want you to know that I got CDC numbers that are published annually. This is dated 2018, and the CDC numbers do state that the states of California, Maryland, and New Hampshire do not publicly report. Now, the additional statistics have come from the National Abortion Federation's text on abortion called Management of Unintended and Abnormal Pregnancy Comprehensive Abortion Care. These state that the latest state level data, which is from the year 2017, states that there were 879,000 abortions in the United States in 2017. Again, that does not include California, Maryland, and New Hampshire. So to speak, only God knows how many there's actually been. The estimate of 926,000 abortions is based on the fact that these three states do not respond. Now, in 2014, 19% of United States pregnancies, and this is not spontaneous, this is not a miscarriage, this is entirely the mechanical act of abortion. 19% of U.S. pregnancies ended in abortion in 2014, and that is directly from the CDC. Now, we need to examine behavioral and environment. Well, okay, I'm sorry. Are some people affected more so than others? Yes. There are numerous studies that have been done. I do not have a copy of that, so I hope that this doesn't cost me any more points. But I have personally read of many studies done where women have had almost like PTSD from having an abortion. That doesn't happen to everyone. It doesn't happen all the time. In fact, while I was looking this stuff up, I did read the Planned Parenthood website. I did go back and reread that and read some other pages. They state that there is no problems after an abortion, that they do not occur. That is fallacious. That is spin that they have put on it. I have personally, this is, personal. I have personally heard speeches given by women who have talked about how they went through trauma because they felt like they killed their baby. So there is PTSD related to this. It does affect some people, not all. Now, to move on here, the next question you said was you wanted to know about behavioral and environmental factors. Well, um, prior to January 22nd, 1973, abortion was illegal in the entire United States. And there were, according to history books, um, I lived then, but I was not even 10 years old at the time. That there were many women who would be maimed for life, and there is a favorite word that floats around called back alley abortion. And what that is referring to is women that would go sneak around to wherever they could get somebody that could stick a clothes hanger up them and in their baby. Uh, I I've never found any statistics on that. I don't see how you could have statistics on that because of the fact that it was sneaking around and it was illegal. So I don't really see how you could produce statistics on that. At any rate, January 22nd, 1973, Roe versus Wade. This is a direct quote from the History Channel. Roe versus Wade was a landmark legal decision in which the United States Supreme Court struck down a Texas statute banning abortion, effectively legalizing the procedure across the United States. The court held that a woman's right to an abortion was implicit in the right to privacy protected by the 14th Amendment to the Constitution. Prior to Roe v. Wade, abortion was illegal since the late 19th century. Again, this is a direct quote from the History Channel. Now, that being said, we need to look at the behavioral and environmental factors. Now, the behavioral factors regarding abortion are the fact that a pregnancy has to occur in order for an abortion to be needed. So the behavioral factor has to do, quite frankly, with the sexual freedom that is expressed in the United States today. Obviously, the Solomon, supposedly the wisest man that's ever been, said there is nothing new under the sun. So sex outside of marriage, sex is obviously something that's been going on ever since, or else how would we be here, right? But today, in today's world, and ever since the so-called sexual revolution in the 60s, sex is out in front. It's pushed on everybody. You can't go down the road without a billboard of a nude woman or a bare-chested man. Television is just full of it. And children are seeing it and becoming sexually active at younger and younger ages. I'll never forget, you know that I'm an LPN. Since this, I'm not able to work right now. That's why I'm taking this health information management course. When I went through my gynecology training in 2000, OBGYN training in 2000, in order to pass that course, I had to observe a live birth. And my heart broke. There was women after I was at Women's and Children's Hospital in Mobile, Alabama. Of course, the majority of the women were like, "I don't want a man in here that don't have to be in here looking at me." They finally found and I hope you're ready for this, 12-year-old little girl. She had no mother with her. no grandmother with her, no boyfriend with her. She was there having the child alone, 12 years old. And so she was more than happy for somebody to come in there and hold her hand. Um, I was very privileged in that it was a C-section. So I got to actually observe, I saw the doctor remove her uterus from her body and set it on her chest, clean it out, zap it, cauterize the blood vessels. You talk about a stink. Oh my God, it's the worst thing. I've smelled skunks, and this is the worst stink I've ever smelled in my life. Sewed up her uterus while it was sitting on her chest, put it back inside of her, sewed up her body. Now, that being said, back to the point, 12 years old. 12 years old. Why do abortions occur? Okay. Now, this is from the CDC. I'm sorry, my apologies. Well, let me back up here. The CDC, okay, this is CDC. The CDC says that 3% were because of fetal health, 4% was because of the mother's health. 4% was because it would interfere with an education or a career. A woman killed her baby. 4% of 1,209 women surveyed. So I would have to do the math on that real quick. Math is not my strong suit. But 4%, let me see here. That would be 0.04 of 1,209 equals. So 1,209 times 0.04. 48.3. So 48 of the women surveyed killed their baby because it would interfere with their job or their career. 7% decided they weren't mature enough to raise a child. Okay, they were mature enough to spread their legs, but they weren't mature enough to raise a child. Go figure. 8% didn't want to be a single mother. 19% just didn't want to have a child. 23% said it was economic reasons. Well, that's one of your questions here, is regarding the economic, political, and ethical. One of them was definitely, and I've got more economic here in just a minute. Now, the state of Florida is the only state in the union that records reasons for abortions. In 2018, there were 70,083 abortions in Florida. And of these, the largest percentage was 75.4% aborted for social or economic reasons. Now, it's not more specific than social and economic reasons, but 75% stated it was social and economic reasons. 89% happened during the first trimester prior to the 13th week of gestation. So there's 11% that happen after the 13th week. Why am I saying week? Week of gestation. Now then, we're talking about, behavioral and environmental factors. All right, that would be related here to abortion funding. 17 states use public funds to pay for abortions for poor women. 14% of all the abortions in the United States are paid for with public funds, virtually from every state. Now, that doesn't make sense because it says 17 states pay for it, but then it says 14% are paid with public funds from every state. So I'm not quite sure about that, but this is from the, I've got so many papers. I want to be thorough about this. This is from U.S. Abortion Statistics, Facts and Figures. U.S. Boy, it looks backwards. I guess it'll look forwards to you. U.S. abortion statistics, facts, and figures. Okay. 45,000 abortions were publicly funded in New York, according to um, that other place. Not the CDC, National Abortion Federation. Now then, all right. Economic, political, and ethical. The cost of an abortion. According to the National Abortion Statistics, the average cost up to 9 weeks of gestation was $504. Now, the Planned Parenthood stated it was $458. So just letting you know the difference there. Now, that's talking about medical abortions. Planned Parenthood describes a medical abortion as using gentle suction to evacuate a pregnancy from a uterus. That's one way to spin it, isn't it? The cost of abortion, we talked about that. All right. Induced abortions usually result from unintended pregnancies despite the use of contraception. So, what this is talking about here is that even though women use contraception, they still get pregnant. And that was the case with mine. My wife was on the pill, and we did not intend to have any children. But she was 3 months pregnant when she found out she was pregnant. But this says, CDC says, that in 2008, 51% of women having abortions were on contraception, other than abortion. All right. We are in the home stretch. How many minutes? 17 minutes. Wow. I hope you don't dock me because I'm over 5 minutes. All right. Regarding the current issues, New York just recently passed a law that a woman can have an abortion anytime for any reason whatsoever, and they're paying for them. However, on the other hand, you've got the states down here in the Bible Belt, as they call it, that are trying to restrict abortion. In the most recent thing that was found here is that President Trump is having what has stopped all Title X federal funds from paying for abortions. It has provided $268 million to healthcare providers. Due to this rule, Planned Parenthood is now withdrawing from the Title X funding. They call it the gag rule because they can't discuss abortion when they're talking to someone. Now, currently, the House of Representatives has passed a bill. The Senate has not. So it's not. In other words, they were trying to block President Trump, and that has not happened as of yet. Planned Parenthood. This is a direct quote from Alexis McGill Johnson, the president of Planned Parenthood. And this was just last month. She says this is not about Planned Parenthood's budget. This is about our patients. This is an attack on reproductive health. Now, talking about ethical issues and political issues here. All right, you've got there is no middle ground. You can just forget it. People are either for or they are against. The for side is couching it in terms of reproductive health. The against side is couching it in terms of killing babies. The against side, the con side, if you will, they want to shut down every abortion clinic they can. One less abortion clinic means however many more babies' lives are saved. The for abortion side is saying that we are restricting women's health, that they need to be able to have an abortion whenever they want to have one. So there is a huge political divide. There is no middle ground, ma'am. I'm sorry. It's just not there. The last question that you have here is ethical and future. Okay, those last two questions, issues, points. Um, ethically, ethically, both sides ascribe to ethics. The side for abortion says that it is unethical to stop abortions. In fact, there are religious leaders on their side. Recently, I saw a picture of several preachers, priests, whatever you want to call them, praying a blessing over an abortion clinic that was being opened. So both sides are claiming ethics. The against side is claiming that it is unethical to kill a person who is not able to defend themselves. Just like, and they view it as if, let's say you have a baby, a year old, a toddler maybe, and somebody busts in and kills your baby. Or you're driving down the road, a drunk driver hits your car, and your baby dies. They are couching it in terms of the same way, that it is unethical to kill a baby inside the mother's womb that cannot protect itself. While the other side is stating that it is unethical to force poor women or women that are not ready to have a baby to have a baby. So, unfortunately, both are claiming ethics. Both claim to have ethics on their side. And the final question is, what is the future? What is the future? Obviously, my crystal ball's in the shop for its 28,000th view checkup, just being funny here. No one has a crystal ball. No one can read it and tell. It appears right now that in the northern and or more liberal states, like out on the West Coast and up in the north, that they are going to expand abortion rights, while in the South they are going to compress abortion rights with the goal. And in fact, I wish I would have pulled this to give this to you. Goodness gracious. I remember reading last week that the state of Alabama has passed a law that if abortion ever becomes a state's issue, that abortion would be banned in the state of Alabama. And I don't have the reference to that. I am so sorry. I'll have to, but anyway, I read that last week, so haven't checked it out. I don't know if that's accurate, but I remember reading that. So, is it declining or increasing? Yes, increasing in some places, declining in others. And what is currently being done to address the situation? I think I've explained that fairly well. Again, ma'am, I'm 23 minutes into this video right now. Again, thank you for letting me have this extra time, what with my wife having surgery. It is greatly appreciated. I thank you for this course and everything that's been done along with it. And I hope you have a wonderful time, and more than likely we'll run into each other again. This is the second course I've had with you. Thank you so much. Have a good one.